Ramaphosa fires shots at Malema in the opening of Parliament debate. Despite urging him to read more literature on the history of the mining workers' unions, President Cyril Ramaphosa has reprimanded EFF leader Julius Malema for his distasteful comments and lack of respect. Ramaphosa said apartheid-era politics seemed to be a bit of a challenge to Malema, inviting him to a more productive chat about the history. You and I need to sit down and talk about politics, especially about the apartheid-era politics, which I think confuses you. You seem to be in the dark. I'll be doing this so that whenever you stand up and address us, it will be about something that will give us a direction. You stood here some 2 years ago and insulted my father and I, saying he was a police officer. Yes, I'm proud to be the son of a policeman, a very good policeman. I spoke to your grandmother, and I would never stand here and insult your grandmother like that because I respected her like I do to you, Ramaphosa said. Along with it, he asked Malema to be respectful and work for the country's development. Ramaphosa was responding to the debate of his opening of Parliament OPA speech by MPs in the Cape Town City Hall as opposition parties lashed out at him. Ramaphosa delivered his speech on Thursday night in Cape Town. This is after Malema questioned Ramaphosa's struggle and trade union credentials and also about the formation of the National Union of Mine Workers, NUM. Malema has also publicly lashed out at Ramaphosa about his failure as president. Ramaphosa directed Malema to speak to people like Gwede Mantashe, Montri Gugubele, and many others to shed some light on his part in NUM formation. He stopped cracking the whip at Malema with a question. Var was jy? Where were you? Meanwhile, despite criticism that his speech was old wine in a new bottle, Ramaphosa insisted that through the Government of National Unity, GNU, South Africa would change for the better. We now a Government of National Unity, formed in the cause of rebuilding our nation. We are committed to putting our differences aside and working together for the common good, he said. It is time to get South Africa working again, Ramaphosa said. In the meantime, GPU in KZN is tested as IFP-ANC leaders clash. The stability of the Government of Provincial Unity GPU in the Hang KwaZulu-Natal legislature is again under scrutiny as two senior leaders of the ANC and the IFP are locked in a public spat. The war of words started when ANC Provincial Secretary Bekim Tolo accused the IFP MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs COGTA, the Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi, of the weaponization of his department. We condemn the weaponization of the COGTA department for what is clearly a campaign to turn municipalities into a fiefdom of a dominant grouping that is operating like a criminal syndicate, Dolo said in a statement. The ANC and IFP are part of the GPU governing KZN alongside the DEA and NFP. The public feud between Tolo and Buthelezi has brought into sharp question whether the GPU would be able to weather political storms until its 5-year term expires in 2029. The bone of contention from Tolo was the axing of government administrators allegedly by Buthelezi, including municipal managers appointed last month by IFP Premier Tamin Ntuli. We view the removal, replacement and appointment of administrators and municipal managers by Buthelezi without following due process as record and illegal, said Mtolo. He said Buthelezi had no authority to appoint A.B. Mnikati an acting municipal manager of Nongoma local municipality. MEC Buthelezi is now introducing a new culture where Kogta becomes the perpetrator of maladministration. We want to remind him that no party in the GPU obtained an outright majority. Therefore, he should not act as if he is the alpha and omega of the GPU. Despite the spat, Mtolo said the IFP and ANC had held discussions on cooperation between the two parties to co-govern and municipalities in KZN. Not taking Mtolo's attack lying down, Buthelezi fired a salvo, telling Mtolo that the ANC was no longer in power in KZN. He claimed that the forensic investigation had been set in motion by his department and could implicate members of the ANC. A forensic investigation into procurement and employment violation between January 2023 and May 2024 would most likely lead to criminal charges against senior ANC leaders in the province, said Buthelezi. The information at my disposal implicates even him, Mtolo. The sparring between the two comes as the GPU partners are at pain to allay fears of the power deal collapsing. Last week, ANC provincial chairperson Siboniso Duma reassured the province's citizens that the GPU would not collapse amid fears posed by the NFP, the kingsmaker in the deal. Let us work for the betterment of the community. Service delivery is at the center. We are in the government, GPU, and I think we've started on the correct footing, Duma said. He was addressing the editorial team and management of the independent media in Durban last week. Like Duma, provincial leader Ntuli and the DA provincial leader Dean McPherson have previously said the GPU will work. This is amid the looming threat posed by NFP leader Ivan Bernice, who is said to have been eyeing control of the Zululand district municipality in return for supporting the GPU grouping with his party's deciding single seat. However, Bernice did not have his way after the IFP voted for its candidate Michael Kumalo as Zululand district municipality mayor, stroking fears that Bernice would pull out of the power pact governing KZN. But Bernice had been coy and has played his cards close to his chest, resulting in speculation as to whether he would pull out of the GPU. Of the 80 seats in the KZN legislature, the Umkhonto weSizwe party has 37, followed by the IFP with 15, the ANC 14, DA 11, EFF 2, and NFP 1. In the meantime, putting ANC in charge of the city of Tshwane is like appointing a drunkard to run a bottle store. Executive Mayor of the city of Tshwane, Celius Brink, has scoffed at the mission of no confidence brought against him by the African National Congress, the city, saying the ANC is not coping with the idea of being in the opposition benches. The regional ANC in Tshwane held a media briefing on Friday where it outlined its attempt to remove Brink via a motion of no confidence, which will be tabled in council. On Monday, Brink told broadcaster Newsroom Africa that the ANC in Tshwane has not been rehabilitated. He said the recent bid to oust the DA-led coalition running Tshwane is motivated by new measures implemented to block looting through tenders. I think it is motivated by the performance standards which the administration has introduced on waste removal contracts. We suspect that the original secretary of the ANC has got interest in some of the water subcontractors. The MMC for Finance, Julius, has made a statement to the police to that effect, he said. Brink added that the ANC in Tshwane has not been a consistent opposition party. They do not release these statements or offer this criticism in a regular, coherent fashion. They come once or twice a year and deliver this attack out of the blue, while we have a new top management that is changing the institutional culture of the city, while we are making progress at river water treatment works, he said. The ANC has not yet been rehabilitated. They don't have a prospectus for how to govern the city of Tshwane. If you want to look at what their prospectus is, look at Joburg, look at Ekurhuleni. This is what they have to offer. To put the ANC in charge of Tshwane now would be like putting a hard-drinking person in charge of a bottle store, said Brink. ANC Regional Chairperson Eugene Modise revealed that the motion of no confidence against Brink will be tabled later this week. Last year, IOL reported that after weeks of political instability, DA Councillor Brink had been elected the city of Tshwane's new executive mayor. In his acceptance speech, Brink said he will be aiming for a corruption-free administration that improves the lives of all people in Tshwane. Each of us, no matter our race, political affiliation, or where we live, we want to build a capital city that works, where there is clean, effective, and corruption-free administration, he said at the time. And that's it from Injibs Network. Stay tuned to our celebrity and gossip news.